I'm here once again to discuss politics in Nigeria. What if I told you that what we have in Nigeria is more or less a transactional politics? What we have in Nigeria is more or less a transactional democracy. What if I told you what we have in Nigeria is a commercial democracy where the people play little or no role in what happens, or the people or the citizens play little or no role in how things are determined in society, which is against the principles of democracy. Now, a few days ago, we saw photos of, Governor Adeleke of Osun State, paying a visit to Tinubu in Lagos. And a lot of people have said, oh, since we have a gale of defections, Nigeria is going towards a one-party state, that Adeleke was going to defect to the APC. And I said, no. The kind of democracy that we practice now in Nigeria, especially with the coming of the APC, especially with the coming of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it's no longer, you don't have to be in APC to deliver votes for the president, or to be a supporter of the president. And I'll tell you why. Now, this discussion will center around the transactional elections that happens in Nigeria, where if the president wants a particular state, or the candidate he wants to win, irrespective of the party, wins the election. Now, very soon there will be elections in Osun State, and they're already clamoring for, the PDP will not win, considering that the PDP is in disarray at the moment. But I tell you, Adeleke will win the election if Tinubu wants him to win that election, because right now the people do not even determine who wins the election. It is the man at the helms of affair who determines who wins the election. I take, for example, Edo State. When Tinubu said, I was going to give you, do you want Edo State? And the APC people said, yes, I'm going to give you Edo State. Tinubu is not even a registered voter in Edo State, but he said, I will give you Edo State. Now, what that simply means that the system will work towards his preferred candidate. And that's exactly what we saw happen in Edo State, because you cannot tell me what we saw in Edo State was an election. That wasn't an election. And that's why I did a video advising Aso Ighodalo not to even seek any redress in court, because the issue of going to court is all part of the grand scheme to ensure that the preferred candidate of the president continues in office. So we've seen what happened, the kind of judgment that came out from the electoral tribunal in Edo. We've seen the appeal court. Now he's heading to the Supreme Court. And like I will say, Aso Ighodalo will also lose a Supreme Court, because it's all part of the transactional elections that we have in Nigeria. Because the states, part of the agreement will be that if I give you the state, you support me in the elections. We saw in June 11, Anambra State will start campaigns until November for the next election. And like I said, it is fait accompli for Professor Soludo, because he's going to win the elections, because the president wants him. Because you can see in 2023, Soludo, whether you like it or not, supported Asiwaju for that election against Peter Obi. And part of the whole thing, we see he has visited Anambra State. That will tell you that part of the agreement will be that Soludo will support, irrespective of his party, he will support Tinubu in 2027. The same thing we saw happen in Rivers. So those saying that Adeleke will outrightly decamp to the APC, he will just be in the PDP just for the sake of it. But I can tell you, Adeleke will win. The same kind of transactional election we saw happen in Edo State will also happen in Osun State. This is part of the things that we see happen in different states of Nigeria. So those who are even defecting, yes, they have defected, giving certain excuses. But I can tell you, what we have in Nigeria today is transactional elections, where the people play minimal or even no role at all in who determines or who becomes elected. And There's a statement credited to Ababio recently where he said, "Oh, telling outgoing governors, do not make anybody governor. It is not the prerogative of an incumbent to make someone else governor. It is the people who decide." So you now see, in the scheme of things in Nigeria, the people play minimal or no role, because it is who the powers that be wants to be governor that will be governor. And for those doing coalition against Tinubu, the Northerners saying they will not vote Tinubu, just go and rest. Tinubu will win the election, with or without your vote, because the presidency controls INEC. And the glitch we saw that happened in 2023, what is even worse than the glitch will happen in 2027. And Tinubu will coast home to victory. As far as I'm concerned, just the way Buhari's second tenure was already outlined, and they had to ease out Onogen, Justice Onogen, and the rest of them. The same plan has already been made for 2027. So as far as I'm concerned, 2027 is already a done deal. Like I said, and I'll continue to say, only one thing can stop Asiwaju from getting re-elected in 2027, and that is death. Only God, through the instrumentality of death, can remove Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because all these coalitions and the rest of them, he already knows the end game, because he has been part of the whole thing since 2015 and all of that. So he understands all the moves, and the likes of Atiku and the rest will want to dish out. He controls the presidency, and INEC is not that independent. So for those saying Adeleke will leave, what we have in Nigeria now is transactional elections, where you scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's what's happening in Nigeria, unfortunately. So that's why I always say that this thing we call democracy in Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned, it only favors just a few persons in the system, except those who have been co-opted into the system. But otherwise, only few people benefit from it. It's just unfortunate. So please don't forget to like and share. You can leave a comment, and I will respond, and your comments will give us topic things to talk about in subsequent videos. All right, my name is Joel. Please don't forget to subscribe and follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And you can also like, share, and leave a comment. Thank you.